shit. Kill it, kill it. I told y'all that wasn't gonna work. Welcome back to the channel. We kind of wanted to bring you an update. So one of our, well, actually the most popular video that we have on our channel is the initial review and opinion of the KRX 1000. So we've now, Tanner's now had this for a whole year, and we wanted to kind of give you a breakdown of everything that's happened in the last year and what we do and don't like about this. So this is a 2021 KRX 1000 Trail Edition, and it is all stock minus the cage, tires and wheels, and shock therapy springs.
Alright, so like Brent said, I've owned this KRX for just over a year now. I do not regret getting a KRX at all. For rock crawling, it's been a beast, and I have not technically broken anything yet, so that's a big plus. I'm not saying you can't break these. It's definitely going to break at some point. I've just been lucky and I haven't broke nothing on it yet. I drove it stock for quite a few rides, probably 4 rides maybe. And that's no shock therapy springs, nothing upgraded. I had stock wheels and tires, everything stock, just to see what these things would do stock. My biggest complaint factory was it came with like 13 inches of ground clearance. That's not enough. So I put shock therapy springs on there. It got a better ride quality, and I got another 2 or 3 inches of ground clearance out of it. With that being said, one of my complaints for the KRX is if they're going to come out with a ride that only has 13 inches of ground clearance, why put a little bitty skid plate on there? We're going to throw a clip in this video somewhere of the underneath of this thing, and it's beat. I mean, it's beat to hell. And pretty much after every ride, I had to hammer the floorboard out. Where the drain plug is and the floorboard, I had to hammer those back out. There's a little plug down there, and it won't allow the plug to go back in. So I put the shock therapy springs on there. It's got a ABF Fabrication Cage. I put a shift plate in there by Rad Parts. Just a quick shift plate in there. That's basically all the upgrades to it. The last ride we did notice I have some play in the tie rods, so I have not put them on yet. But I did buy these big tie rods by EXE. So it also replaces the inner joint on the tie rod, so if that's wore out, it should fix that problem. So I have upgraded to 35-inch Zillas. I love the 35-inch tires. I'm not going to state my opinion on the Zillas in this video, maybe in a video another day. But so can't go wrong with 35s, and they can fit 35s factory on a KRX. With that being said, another complaint with the KRX, and I've read about it, and I never had an issue or never felt the issue until I put 35s. So I know a lot of people have issues with the clutches on these KRXs. With the primary clutch, the weight's getting grooves wear down in it and starts slugging off the start. And I can start to feel that the last ride we went on to, Hot Springs, I can feel it starting to slugging when you try to take off. So I got to take the clutch cover off and check the primary clutch, because I'm sure I'm going to have to get a clutch kit. So if that is a problem, that would be another complaint, like, you know, make a good clutch. But
so what I did want to bring up, like I said, the Tanner's ride, he drives all the time. With the shock therapy springs in 35s, it did come stock with, it says 13-inch of ground clearance. This thing was little, actually under 13, around 12.5. Right now, it's sitting around 17. We have, the last time we put the 35s on it, it was closer to 18, so the springs have settled a little bit. Kind of want to reiterate, this is a trail edition, so this one does come with the front bumper, the factory sliders, and the rear bumper. One thing that Tanner has done is taken the sway bar off. So pretty much since he's bought it, it has no front sway bar. It still is running the rear sway bar, and it has no limit straps on it right now. They have been ordered, they just haven't been put on yet, but we haven't seen a problem with that. So Tanner's standing behind the camera, and when we say that, you know, it's stock, how many axles have you broke?
0.
Exactly. How many diffs have you broke?
0.
How many drive shafts have you broke?
0.
So the stuff that this thing has climbed, that we broke axles and we broke drive shafts on our other rigs, this one has done the same thing without breaking those parts.
And it does come beefed up more than, you know, a factory Polaris, not the new Polaris, but like a factory 1000 Polaris. And I know the videos don't do justice, but the trails we climb are not very easy.
Yeah, we do hit. I mean, we'll put some clips in here like always. We did go to Hot Springs. We rode a whole 5-diamond trail all the way through. I mean, it beats and bangs on them. Even with 35s, he's bottom out, he's dragging. The one thing I will say from a person on the outside looking in that I don't like, and a lot of people like it, I think that's what saves the drive line on these, is that wet clutch.
Yeah.
The wet clutch system is really soft on the drive lines, but Tanner will get in some situations to where I think you need that instant pop, and the KRX don't have that instant pop to like jump over stuff. It just kind of rolls into it, and it's not that he's not on the floorboard, it's just that's the way it works.
Yeah, that part I really noticed it at Hot Springs. That's when I really struggled with that.
Where an X3 and a Razor, you get on that gas, you know, it slams into gear and it takes off, and this one just kind of rolls through that.
Yeah. So I have had this for a year, and it has 802 miles on it. I know to some people that's not a lot, but we don't ride long trails. All of our trails are pretty short, and it's just climbing. We do ride back here in the pasture and some roads around here, but so 802 miles on it in a year, no major issues. One thing I do want to give props to Kawasaki for is making one hell of a Nerf bar. They have taken beatings, and it's got a couple dents in it, but it's not fully bent. So if it comes time to replace these one day, unless I just find a better design that I like the looks of better, I'll probably just go back with the factory rock sliders because they've taken a beating.
Yeah, they're very tough, and I know we mentioned, if you haven't watched it, in our initial opinion and review of this, with the high clearance A-arms on the front and kind of like a high clearance trailing arm, I mean, this thing, it does work good, and it has taken beatings on all of that factory stuff as well, which I have some clips. I don't know how we'll be able to see it, but to show you all the bashes and beatings that they've taken as well.
She's got her battle scars on her for 800 miles.
So another thing we wanted to bring up, Tanner is running full 4-point harnesses in here. With the aftermarket cage, it does have a harness bar. He was running these with the factory cage, but he had to buy the harness bar that bolted in that. So if you do want to run harnesses instead of the factory seat belts, that's something to consider, but he did have to put that in there.
It's like, it was like $150 for that harness bar too. So, I mean, it's not too expensive, but even if you bought the Kawasaki harnesses, their kit comes with brackets for back there. But I mean, their kit's still pretty expensive though for Kawasaki harness kit.
So we just want to make this video to kind of bring some light to y'all. There's been like I said, this has been our most popular video. This has been the video that's got the most comments. If you have any questions on anything we missed out, then, you know, leave a comment. We'll answer any question that we can about it. We try to answer the questions that people ask, what's been done to it, you know, what's it's running. And that's really easy to answer most of the time because it's straight bolt-on stuff. For a while, we wanted to run this thing stock to see how strong it really was. So running factory wheels, tires, everything minus the shock therapy, it ran stock for probably 600 of those 800 miles.
Yeah.
And it's only been the last couple of rides that he went up to the 35s, and still haven't even seen a problem with it. Still running the stock belt.
Yeah.
And none of that. We've actually never even opened that belt cover that I know of to even blow the clutches out.
I blew it out once.
One time. So,
yeah.
I mean, have no issues with this thing whatsoever as far as the durability of it.
Another thing I want to mention about the KRX. Towing capability, great. We had a friend of ours, he's been on the videos a lot. He used to have the blue high lifter, Damon. He had problems when we was in Mina one weekend riding, and we were ways away from our cabin. And I ended up having to tow him all the way back with this thing. And I towed him in high gear, 2-wheel drive. I don't know how many miles, but it was a ways. It took us like an hour and a half to get back.
Yeah, I was going to say probably good 25, 30 miles.
Yeah, and never overheated. These have a belt temp gauge from the factory in the dash. Belt temp never got hot. Nothing. It didn't. No problem. And then I also had to literally like pretty much carry a 4-seat X3 off the trail with this thing. It was crashed. It was not able to roll on its own, so we jacked it up in the front where I could carry it out with this thing, and once again, no issue. I mean,
yeah, literally picked the X3 up like a tow truck
Yeah.
and strapped it to the back bumper of the, so kudos to even the back bumper. We had it tied to the back bumper and had to drag this guy out of a trail.
So this thing, it's a tank. It'll do just about anything you want it to do and not think twice about it.
The one thing we mentioned in the initial video was the weight of it. And I think that held it back for a while. It probably does power to weight ratio.
Yeah.
But now looking at, say, like Damon's 2-seat Turbo R and now our 4-seat Turbo R, they're all in the same weight class now.
Yeah.
So really weight-wise, they're all kind of the same.
So we don't think it affects it as much as we once thought it did.
Right. We're on the trail called Skyview right now. Tenor coming up, KRX 35-inch Zillas. Where you got to that spot, just bump a little bit right there. It's just that lip on the bottom. It's just that lip on the back tire. There you go, there you go. There you go, he got it, he got it. Oh yeah. 35s don't care. Let's get it, boy. G4. He's coming up G4. You got a big one right in the belly. Well, all right then. As Lori would say, all righty. You probably shouldn't have stopped.
I can't go nowhere.
Just send it, bro. got it.